Hey there, CPO here, and I wanted to go real quick over my FPV setup that I just put together, at least notionally, but it's up and running, and I wanted to show you what I plan on doing for that and how I have all my connections made, what gear I'm using. This is going to be on my FPV plane. I'm not sure, I'm positive I'm going to put it on my Bixler 2, but I also have built a wing, an FT Versa wing, that I'll probably use it there as well. But this is just going to be an overview of what I've done so far. These aren't the final connections. I'm going to have to make some changes, maybe extend some wires depending on how I put it in the plane. But this will give you a good idea of what I have going on. So let me zoom out here and you can check out my system, and then I'll explain a little bit about what I have going on. But that video image you see on the monitor is being transmitted right now wirelessly through my FPV wireless video transmitter receiver set, and it is courtesy of this 808 number 16 camera with a D lens, which is the camera I chose to use, and the wireless transmitter receiver set is the Boscam 5.8 GHz 200mw set from Hobby King. And pretty much everything is powered right now by, for the most part, 3S lipos. And that meets my power requirements, which is great because that's what I'm using in the plane as well. So let's talk a little bit about the gear. So as you can see, this is the wireless transmitter. This is what will actually go on the plane. It comes with two wiring harnesses. One is the power of the unit itself, which is this one here, and then one is a little 5-wire harness that is for powering and receiving the audio-video feeds. So it powers the camera if you choose to do so, and then also receives the audio-video feeds. And I believe this green wire is some sort of a shutter trigger wire or something like that. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but I'm not using it. But so it comes with, for the power lead, it comes with this little lead with the JST connector on it. I happen to have a 3S lipo with a matching connector. It's the one out of my 9XR, not the one I plan on using in the plane. So I'll probably swap this out for something that will connect to a balance port on one of these zippy batteries that I'll use in the plane. But at any rate, it takes a 12-volt input, and 3S is conveniently nominally about 12 volts, so that makes for a perfect input. And then it outputs a 12-volt power supply for your camera. So if you have a camera that can accept a 12-volt input, you can use this to power that camera. I, however, do not have a camera that can accept a 12-volt input. My 808 number 16 camera accepts a 5-volt input. So what I've done to mitigate that is I'm using a little external BEC here. It is a 5-volt 3-amp BEC, and I have tested it, and it does output right around 5 volts, just a little bit more. And it will accept, you know, a variable input, but the 12-volt input is just fine for that. So that's how I'm powering through this little pigtail my camera externally, so it's not dependent upon the internal power supply or the internal battery in the camera. And then my video feed is making its way back through this yellow lead on the transmitter. It's actually a white lead off the camera, but it mates with the yellow lead on the transmitter. One thing you'll notice is I don't have my ground cable, my ground wire connected, and I don't actually need it, and I wanted to check and make sure I didn't need it, and I don't. And the reason is because in the USB cable, those grounds are connected. This ground and this ground is actually connected anyway. So the ground is actually being supplied already through this power lead. So I could use a redundant ground. I may or may not actually put it in there just to be safe, like maybe pigtail it into here or something. But the reality of it is I don't need it. And that's something I learned from Tom Frank on the forums in the 808 number 16 thread on RC groups. was that those grounds are connected in the USB of the camera. So anyway, this is living proof of that, and I've actually used a multimeter to check for continuity between this wire, and I do get continuity. So that's where my ground is coming. I'm not using audio, so I'm not using the white wire on this, but if you have a camera where you're going to feed audio, that's the white wire. And again, I'm a little unsure on the green wire, but I get a sense that that's some sort of a camera shutter trigger or something like that. This Boscam set came with absolutely not a lick of instructions. I mean, not a wiring diagram, not a pamphlet, not a thanks for buying me. It was just in a plain white box, and that was it. So you're pretty much left on your own to figure out how to get this thing up and running. But obviously, as you can see, I've got it up and running. This signal you're seeing here in the video display is simply just being transferred wirelessly between the transmitter and the receiver. So now going to the receiver, as you can see here, I have two things plugged into it. One of them is power. It takes also a 12-volt power supply, and that's being fed through this cable, which actually comes with it, another JST connector, and I have rigged up a little adapter to run to this XT60 powered by a 3S battery. I will probably use this as my power supply on the ground station, is just take one of these 3S lipos and use it to power everything. I'm fortunate in the fact that my little monitor here, which right now is going to be my makeshift FPV monitor until I figure out what's next, it will also accept a 12-volt input. It's a 9 to 12 volt variable input requirement. So I could essentially tap that into the same 3S lipo and power my entire ground station off the one lipo. So that's pretty cool. The other cable I have plugged into the wireless receiver is basically the audio video out. And I had to build a custom cable. It's a little bit long because I wasn't sure how long I was going to need it. But as you can see, this kind of has a weird 1/8 sort of a audio video connection, but it's not your standard audio video connection. I ran into some trouble because the wiring was a little bit awkward. So I basically had to custom sort out with a multimeter which connection was running the video and which one was running the ground, and then make sure it got wired properly in there. But now that's done, and I've got this little custom wire here to connect it. This monitor is actually a part of a DVD player set. It's one of those dual screen in-car DVD players, you know, portable DVD players you hang on the backrest of a car. We used them for a while. They've been sitting in a drawer for at least a couple of years or so. So I put it to work because it had this AV input, and that's how it transfers the video from one screen to the other, is through an AV input. So it became a perfect little option and a portable solution for my FPV video. And that's basically it in a nutshell. It works, you know, as you can see, this is real-time video feed, and it's working like a charm. Very excited to get this thing going. I bought this FPV wireless transmitter receiver set quite a while ago with an order from the International Hobby King store. Took quite a while to get here, and then I haven't really had the time or the resources to sit and figure out how to make it all work. But finally have that going, and that's it. So now I'm going to tidy up some wiring, figure out what type of permanent connections I want, figure out what type of wire links I want to make sure I've got enough room to separate things. But this is it. This is how it's going in the plane. And then, you know, this obviously will be my ground station. So I hope that helps somebody who is wondering how they might connect up their 808 number 16 to an FPV setup. And also, if we've got people who are specifically curious how to get this Boscam setup up and running, there you go. That's it. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.